Welcome everyone. While I'm having technical difficulties, I'm going to go over our welcome screen really quickly. So sorry about that. So thank you for checking out the Illinois Virtual College Exploration Fair for all Illinois students. If you've attended these fairs before, you've probably heard of this spiel. But if you have any questions, make sure you ask them through the question and answer section. Students' microphones and videos are off, so that's the only way you'll be able to talk to this college representative. So make sure you send those questions in the chat. And then make sure that you sign up for more sessions to learn a little bit more about the universities in the area as well as out of state. And then these recordings will be available on our website, www.iacac.org. So if you miss anything or your internet kicks you out, don't worry, you'll still be able to access all this wonderful information. And now I'm going to turn it over to our presenter.
Thank you. Go ahead and share my screen. Great. Hi, everyone. My name is Nellie. I'm an admissions counselor from Mills College. I'm going to share a little bit about Mills College today, and hopefully if you have any questions, I'll have some time at the end to answer them. A little bit about Mills. We are a small private liberal arts school for women. We are located in Oakland, California, so up in the Bay Area. We were established in 1852 as the first women's college in the West, and we have definitely not been the traditional sense of what we initially were established to be. We've changed since, really changing and adapting to the needs of our students and the local community. So initially we were established to create access to women in higher education during a time where they were excluded. However, over time we've continued to evolve, as I mentioned. So we were the first women's college to implement a transgender admissions policy, and we offer admission to gender nonconforming folks. So at Mills, it's very important for us, for students to feel comfortable being who they are and really being able to use that and thrive in their college experience. We are a liberal arts education, so we are highly interdisciplinary at Mills, meaning that we have lots of different programs for students to choose from. However, we do also encourage students to explore outside of that program, whether that be a student who is majoring in business but wants to take some theater classes. A lot of our students really take advantage of that interdisciplinary aspect to Mills. We also have a very strong commitment to equity, inclusion, and social justice. Given the nature of how we were started, and also given the nature of our location and who we are as an institution, across a lot of our academic programs, regardless of whether they are in the sciences, the humanities, the arts, a lot of our students will be encouraged to engage within their community in a way that they can use the tools that they're learning in the classes to really begin to understand social issues that we are currently facing in the world, or social issues that they are passionate and interested in about themselves. So you will really begin to develop those tools and be able to utilize them throughout your college experience. And as I mentioned, at Mills, we want to make sure that students feel comfortable being who they are, but really also encourage them to stand out, voice their concerns, voice their ideas, so that they can really make the most of their experience. As I mentioned, we are very small, so we have about 700 undergraduate students, meaning that we offer a highly individualized academic experience for our students, where you have a lot of access to professors, as our faculty to student ratio is 8:1. The average classroom size is about 12 students. So throughout your classes, throughout your internship opportunities, career search, you're going to have a lot of faculty members who are highly invested in your education and are there to support you and also be mentors to you as well. As I mentioned, we do have that strong commitment to diversity and inclusion, and our student body population represents that not only demographically, but also with those ideas and those passions that they come to Mills prior to even being a student. 63% of our students are students of color, 43% are first generation, which is very important, and I like to stress, as a first generation student myself, it's very easy to fall into the imposter syndrome. However, at Mills, where almost half of your classmates also will potentially be first generation students, it instead creates more of a supportive community that is going to really be there to support you and to encourage you to be able to succeed in class and outside of class. 58% of our student body identify as part of the LGBTQIA+ community or somewhere on the spectrum. And 33% are non-traditional. We are very transfer friendly at Mills. And within this non-traditional population, it includes students who transferred either from their local community college or junior college, someone who is transferring in from another four-year university, or someone who took some time after graduating high school or after some previous form of education and are wanting to come back to resume at Mills. And at Mills, what's really great too is that not only are students diverse, but so are our faculty. Although we are an all-women's college, we do have co-ed faculty members. However, the majority are female or self-identifying women, with 76% representing that population. And 46% of our faculty are faculty of color, compared to about 14% at highly selective private universities. So all of these diverse experiences, all of these diverse thoughts and backgrounds really come to play in those small classroom settings, as I mentioned, where you are not only learning from your professors, but you're also learning from your peers who have a lot of experience, a lot of helpful insight that will really create that dynamic learning experience. As I mentioned, we are interdisciplinary, so we offer over 30 different academic programs that really range from the arts to the sciences to the humanities and social sciences. One really unique thing about Mills is that you don't have to come in declared. So if you're a first-year student or even a transfer student and you're not quite sure what it is that you want to major in, or maybe you do know but you want to explore prior to doing so, you have the opportunity of doing that at Mills. So for first-year students, you would declare your major by the end of your second year. And for transfer students, you would declare your major by the end of your first semester at Mills. And that for the reason for that is that none of our programs are impacted. So you won't face any wait lists, any additional applications, with the exception of 2, who I'll go over a little bit more in depth in the next slide. That gives you the opportunity to maybe take a class in education, or maybe take a class in music if you want to explore. All of these are offered as majors and minors. So if you are interested in doing a double major or a major and a minor, you can also combine that. We also have an individualized major program where students can create their own program. And the way they would do that is that they would build their own curriculum by curriculum that is already integrated into our existing programs. And you would do that with the guidance of a faculty and an academic navigator. So they'll kind of help you build out that program, and whatever you choose to name that program, once it's confirmed, that would actually be printed on your diploma. So it provides our students agency in what it is that they actually want to study and what it is that they're interested in pursuing. As I mentioned, 2 programs do have additional requirements. That is our partnership programs. So we have our pre-nursing partnership program, which is a 2+2. It is a partnership with Simmons University in Boston, Massachusetts. And the way that it works is that students would apply up front to this program. There's still no wait lists. So once they are admitted into this, they would complete 2 years at Mills in completing their prerequisites for pre-nursing. So they would finish with the pre-nursing certificate at Mills within the 2 years. And then if they meet the certain testing requirements, they would have guaranteed admission to Simmons University for to complete their Bachelor's of Science in Nursing. So it'd be 2 years with Mills, 2 years with Simmons, and they would graduate with a degree from Simmons University. Our second partnership is our Engineering 3+2. This partnership is a partnership with UC Berkeley, where students would apply up front to both schools by the November 30th deadline. And it is specifically only for civil engineering. So when a student applies, they would select Mills 3+2 engineering program on their applications. And if they are admitted, they would do 3 years at Mills and graduate with the Bachelor's of Environmental Science from Mills. And then they would go to UC Berkeley and do a degree in civil engineering and graduate with another degree from UC Berkeley. So it is a dual degree program where they graduate with 2 degrees. This partnership was established as an initiative to try to increase women in engineering, as currently they only represent about 20% of the engineers. So students will benefit from that small supportive environment at an all-women's college, which studies have consistently shown that they're more likely to actually persist in those STEM fields. And then they would go on into a larger institution like UC Berkeley to study their civil engineering. So those 2 are 2 partnerships that have additional requirements. We also offer the really great opportunity at Mills to accelerate your master's degree. You can choose to study in any one of our master's programs that are listed on here, whether it is early childhood education, English language and literatures, as well as creative writing, public policy, and more. And the way that these work is that students study at Mills for 4 years to get their bachelor's. And then that fourth year, they would be taking a combination of undergrad courses as well as graduate level courses. So that's where the accelerated process comes into play. And then after that fourth year, they would stay only an additional year after graduating with their bachelor's and get a master's degree as well. Most of these programs are 2, if not 3 years, if they're a joint program. So you are doing that in half the time, which also means half the money. And you're graduating with a higher degree that's more likely to pay upon graduation. At Mills, as part of our interdisciplinary education and also as a liberal arts institution, it's really important for us to ensure that our students become well-rounded students. And as part of that commitment, we have lots of student resources that are housed under what we call the Empower experience that are geared towards not only ensuring that students are thriving academically, but that they're also thriving socially, professionally, mentally, and emotionally. So as part of that, we have several different resources that students can take advantage of, including our global initiatives, global learning initiatives, and our student exchange programs, which is our study abroad options. So if a student is interested in going to another country, either for a semester or full academic year, to immerse themselves in that country and study while they are there, they can participate in our study abroad options. We currently have programs in almost every major country. But as part of our partnership with UC Berkeley, they can also participate in the study abroad programs that they offer at their campus if we don't offer them. We also offer career advising and community outreach opportunities. So whether you are looking for a job on or off campus, or you are looking for an opportunity to get engaged in the community, either through volunteer work or internships to really get some hands-on experience, we have a full career team that is there to support you in that. Whether it's building a resume, whether it's practicing your interview skills, or simply looking for those opportunities, you'll have some guidance in that. And then if you're interested in doing research, oftentimes it's one-on-one research with faculty members and original research. So it's a really great opportunity to get that hands-on experience regardless of what major you are in. We have research opportunities not only in our sciences, but all of our other programs, whether it's history, whether it's art. So it's not strictly limited to those science-specific fields. And then if you need any sort of accommodations, or whether you had an individualized education plan, or any other accommodations that you had in your previous school that you would like to still continue at Mills, we have our Student Access and Support Services Department, which is going to be there to make sure that you feel comfortable in the classroom setting as well as navigating the campus at large. Some examples of these support services have been extra time on tests. They've been a student note taker or document conversions, as well as if you have an emotional support animal, we have a designated area within our residential halls that is specifically for students who have emotional support animals. And then, as I mentioned, our students' emotional and mental health is extremely important to us, as we know that college can oftentimes be stressful, and sometimes students are navigating multiple aspects of their college experience, whether that be life at home, their academics, maybe a job and extracurriculars. So all of our students get 8 counseling sessions included in their tuition and fees. They are with a professional and they can choose to be used at the student's discretion. They will renew every year, so you will have 8 counseling sessions every single academic year. And lastly, we have our Vera Health Clinic, which is a clinic on campus that students can use regardless of what health insurance they have. If you get sick or you need to renew prescriptions, the health clinic on campus is very centrally located, so you don't have to worry about finding a doctor away from home or somewhere within the Bay Area. And in terms of our housing and dining, we have guaranteed housing all 4 years, which is something that's pretty unheard of in the Bay Area. And we offer different housing options. So we offer singles and doubles within our traditional residential halls, which are our traditional dorms. And we offer independent housing. So there are student apartments, our cooperatives where you share a house with other students and share house responsibilities within the house. So students get the option to choose from those. As I mentioned, we have certain residential halls that are designated for a student with specific interests, whether they have emotional support animals or whether they're interested in STEM areas, Bay Area exploration, first generation students, and a lot more to choose from. For students who choose to commute, either they choose to live off campus, as we don't require students to live on campus. We also have commuting student resources. So we have a commuters lounge where students can reside in between classes that has a fully stocked kitchen, living room, lockers, and computers for printing. And then we also have ample parking on campus, as well as a Mills shuttle. The Mills shuttle goes directly to and from the Bay Area Rapid Transit System, which is our train system that can pretty much connect you to anywhere in the Bay Area. And then lastly, we have two different dining facilities. At Mills, we have our Founders Common and our tea shop. Our Founders Common is more of your traditional buffet style dining hall, and our tea shop is more of a grab and go cup of coffee or cup of tea, and you can sit down for a quick bite as well or study. At Mills, we're also really big on environmental sustainability. So a lot of our produce or a lot of the ingredients that we use in our food are locally sourced at our campus farm or from local farms around the area. And we also have several different diet plan options for students, whether they are vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free. And if there's an option that we don't offer, you can present that to our housing manager, who will implement those accommodations and have at least one meal option for you every single meal. And in terms of our campus life, at Mills, there's lots of different opportunities for students to really get involved and really just kind of get to meet some of their peers on campus. We have the Center for Student Leadership, Equity, and Excellence, which is a central hub at Mills for a lot of our student activities. They oversee our clubs and organizations, and they also put on activities for our students throughout the academic year, whether that is movies on the meadow, our spring fling, black and white ball, or whether that's speaker series throughout Heritage Months or throughout just generally the academic year. We have our Associated Students of Mills College, which is our student governing body, and they are the liaisons between our student body population and our campus leadership. And they are advocates for the student body population. We have over 50 active clubs and organizations that really range from those that are affinity oriented, like our Latinx Student Collective, Indigenous Women Collective, our Black Student Collective, or they are those that can be academic in nature. So for students who are studying psychology or students who are going into a creative writing program. And then we have those that are very niche in interest. So it can be students who are interested in journalism, who want to write creatively with other students. It can be a horseback riding club, or it can be kind of a surfing club that they can go out into the local beaches in the area to surf. Those are just some to name a few. We are also Division III athletics at Mills, so unfortunately we do not offer athletic scholarships. However, we do have 6 sports that compete nationally. We have sports in volleyball, soccer, crew, cross country, tennis, and swimming. And all of the sports are also offered recreationally. So if you're interested in intramural sports or taking a PE class in either one of the sports, you also have the opportunity to do that recreationally. And then just generally, we offer lots of off-campus excursions for students to participate, whether it's on a weekend, whether it's during break time, where you can really go with a group of students out into the Bay Area and explore, do excursions such as hiking, ziplining, just to name a few. And living in the Bay Area, we are one of the most diverse cities in the United States. So whatever interests it is that you are having, either for your career or just in terms of like social interests, we have lots of opportunities to explore that at the Bay Area, in the Bay Area. Several arts organizations. We have our tech giants in the Silicon Valley, not too far from us. Lots of nonprofits that are really geared towards several different interests and passions. And also we're very centrally located. So we are just south of the UC Berkeley campus, about 15 to 10 minutes away, about 25 to 30 minutes away from San Francisco, and about 35 to 45 minutes away from the Silicon Valley, so very centrally located. And in terms of our application details and requirements, we have a fairly simple application process where students are required to submit one application, either our Mills application on our website or the Common application if they're applying to other schools on the Common app. We'll require all official transcripts and one academic letter of recommendation. This can be from a counselor, from a teacher, but someone who can speak to students' academic abilities in the classroom, but also speak to them outside of the classroom too. And for students who are international applicants, we will require an English language proficiency exam. Mills College has been test optional since 2017, so we don't require SAT or ACT scores for admission review as well as for scholarships. So completely optional, you do not have to submit those. And if you would like us to get to know you a little bit more, maybe provide a little bit more context to your application, we do offer an optional admissions interview for you to participate in, and that will supplement your application. And in terms of our deadlines, we have a first-year deadline. We have two first-year deadlines, sorry. Our early action deadline of November 15th, which is non-binding. You would submit your application by November. You would receive your decision by December and still have up until the decision deadline to decide if you want to come to Mills. And then we have a regular decision of January 15th, where you would receive your decision by March, and again, still have up until the decision deadline. For our transfer students, we have a priority consideration deadline of March 1st. And after March 1st, we will review applications on a rolling basis. So you can still submit your application after that deadline. And in terms of financing your Mills education, in 2018, Mills did something that was pretty unheard of. We decreased our tuition by 36%. We did that in order to try to make a private liberal arts education as accessible as we can to students of all backgrounds. So we went from $44,000 for tuition to about $29,000, significant decrease. And on top of that, we increased our scholarships. So we adjusted our aid, and 92% of our students receive some sort of scholarship, whether it is a need-based or a merit-based scholarship. Simply by applying, all of our first-year students are eligible for a merit scholarship of up to $14,000. Whatever that student receives in their first year, they're going to receive until their anticipated graduation date. So for our first-year students, it could be 4 years. For transfer students, transferring at a junior standing, it's 2 years. And our transfer students are eligible for up to $10,000. So that's a slight difference between our first-year students and our transfer students. And in addition to that, we will consider you for need-based aid once you submit your FAFSA or your California Dream Act application. If for whatever reason you're not eligible for either, you can print out the FAFSA and send it in to us to see how much you're eligible for institutional aid from Mills. And all of this is in addition to any federal or state aid that you may be eligible for. So it definitely makes a private education a lot more accessible and a lot more feasible for our students. So with that, I will conclude my presentation. Here is my contact information if you have any follow-up questions, or if you would like to follow us on social media and see what our students are up to. I strongly encourage you to follow up with us and reach out if you have any questions. Thank you.
Awesome. Now I'm going to share my screen again. Okay. Well, thank you all for attending. That was a wonderful presentation, so thank you so much. When this meeting ends, just know that there will be a quick survey. It's just 4 questions, so definitely make sure you take the time to fill that out so we know what we can do to improve this. And another friendly reminder, sign up for more sessions, learn a little bit more about different universities. And then, of course, this recording will be available on our website, so if you were not able to view the whole thing, you are able to access everything. And thank you guys so much. This is going to end pretty abruptly. So everyone have a wonderful day. Bye.